Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
Christmas trees.
Have you got yours?
No, of course not. I buy my Christmas tree on or about my birthday, which is early December.
Real one?
And yes. Okay. But I've gone both ways over the years because my kids were younger. They had some allergies. We would go for several years. We went to fake tree. I'm kind of indifferent.
Yeah, we got a bit of both.
You do?
We get one real one for the smell.
Yes.
Then one fake one for the downstairs.
Right.
Vibes.
Okay, so that's how you do it. All right, it all works out. People have their play there. Chris Butler joins us, National Tree Company CEO, joining us here, I believe, from Cranford, New Jersey, which is a cool little town there. So, Chris, talk to us about kind of Christmas decorations. What are people doing these days? What's different today versus, 10 years, 15 years ago? It seems like people are going nuts for Christmas decorations.
They are going nuts. Yeah, and I like what both of you guys said. You switch between the artificial and the real. We're big fans of real, as well as artificial, obviously. 80% of US consumers buy artificial trees. And so, the real is definitely the minority. But again, obviously, we're big fans of trees in general. But, it's the pre-lit now. So trees come pre-lit. Obviously, there's no mess. They're a lot cheaper. The materials are a lot better. There's a lot of functionality with the lights that you can get today. And so that's really what we're seeing. And there's a lot of extra wreaths and garlands and things being bought as well. And I think with the Instagram generation, the show me generation, people are really now decorating to kind of show their friends and show their followers just how beautiful their homes can be. And so, as you said, Caroline, they have a lot of trees in a lot of different rooms. And so, maybe the kids have a tree now. The kitchen has a small tree, putting the mantelpiece with garlands and small trees. So, we're seeing a lot of incremental decorating with a lot of different items. And in terms of getting back to that swell thing, so you're right, the main reason people buy a real tree is for that real Christmas smell. We bought a company called Sensicles a few years ago, and they are a scented ornament which smells just like Christmas. So if you hang your scented ornament on an artificial tree, you get that real tree smell as well. And
no allergies. One might assume. I'm looking at, I got onto your website. First thing, holiday magic begins. Enter a week, win a gift card. Blackout Friday, blowout deals up to 80% off. How much are you having to think about discounting? How much amid perhaps fear of some that where you're getting your supplies from, the cost might have to go up in the future?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So look, Black Friday through Cyber Monday this year, obviously it was 1 week later. So the holiday season is a week later. So I think every retailer, as ourselves included, are really discounting to make sure that we can kind of capture those sales that we might have missed otherwise, given the week's delay. In terms of the tariffs, look, we've been on a diversification trend over the last few years now anyway, trying to diversify ourselves out of just one source of manufacturing, which would be China. I think if the tariffs go through, who knows what the tariffs will be or when they will go into effect. But, from our standpoint, obviously it's impactful. And so we're trying to diversify our manufacturing base between now and kind of 2026. The promotional things we're doing right now really aren't in answer to that. It's really more just to kind of capture those sales for this season. But if you are a consumer and you're looking for a tree and you're thinking of buying a tree or other holiday decor, this year is a great time to buy it, because if those tariffs go into effect, prices will definitely go up in the next year or so.
Can you give us a breakdown of sort of how much of your supply chain is dependent on China?
Yeah, it's very large today. So I can't give you the exact numbers, but it's very large. But we are diversifying out. We've been on this diversification journey for a few years now. Yeah. And so, probably by the end of 2026, we could be completely out of China, which, is a significant change.
So anything particularly the hot seller this year, Chris?
Yeah, so it's funny. So my wife loves the sparkly trees, the snowy trees, and many consumers love those things. But what we see year after year after year is that green triangle. The kind of the staid, good green triangle, solid materials, great lights, multifunction lights. So it's not a trend driven. It's not a trend-driven industry. I will say this year, disco is back. So kind of a bit of a retro feel for disco. Who doesn't love a bit of disco with their Christmas tree? So disco is back. So we've definitely be seeing some sales on some of our kind of disco themed items. And but again, it is, people still do prefer that traditional green tree with either the white lights, clear lights, the multicolor, or again, we have the dual color functionality. So that's what we see every year.
Are you white lights, Caroline? Or are you a different color?
I think one of ours has multicolored. But I think in general, I'm a boring person. I like a white light with only red and gold vibes going on. And then our thing is we collect Christmas decorations from any city that we go. So then, and then you have to remind yourself where the hell you got some of these random items. But I'm really interested in not just about the idea of what color lights or whether you're doing sparkly or disco. But you must be talking, Chris, to people in your industry that are doing the real tree situation too. How much are you going to have help this year by the fact that we're here in the Northeast? We've had terrible lack of water. Yeah. We've had droughts and the local Christmas tree farms next to me have been struggling.
Yeah, it's a great question. 80% of, like I said, 80% of consumers already buy artificial trees. Versus 20% of consumers buying the real trees. So it's a small market already. And unfortunately with some climate change or with some just weather in general is definitely hurting. Look, Oregon a few years ago got hit. There's some fungus issues in the Carolinas. So it's a tough business to be in, doing those real trees. And look, we're here to pick up the pieces when they falter with some of their supply chain.
Chris, is there any regionality in your business? Do people in the South, spend more on their decorations per capita than the Midwest or anything like that? Or is it pretty standard across the board?
It's pretty standard. We do see the coastal towns going more for kind of Christmas by the sea type themes. But typically, our sales are driven by population centers. So, very good sales in the Northeast, obviously, California, Texas, Florida. It's really population driven. We don't necessarily see big regional differences in our sales anyway. We sell, most of our sales are online. So we sell through Amazon, Wayfair, Home Depot, Macy's, etc. And so we really see sales driven by, by where people live.
Hey, Chris, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Chris Butler, National Tree Company CEO.